Holy fuck.
It's gone straight through it.
Alright guys, so in this video we're taking the car out to Junta Raceway, and this is actually the first time Matt and I saw the boys load up the trailer to go racing, and I've got to say, it's pretty impressive. Everything had its place and the trailer was set up for all Mirl's equipment, so it all happens very quickly. It probably only took 15-20 minutes tops to completely load everything. So once we got to the track, we got the car unloaded, and Matt and Sid got the car warmed up and gave it one final check over, just to make sure everything was good to go. And it's also worth mentioning that Mirl's dash was only working periodically, so he was only able to drive the car by feel and had no real data to work with. And he did mention to me off camera that unlike an aspirated motor where the power will fall off toward the top of the rev range, this turbo motor just kept pulling, so it was very difficult to stay off the limiter. And in this next clip I actually referred to La Junta as La Junta, but it is spelt with a J, so you got to cut me some slack and go easy on me there.
Alright, so we made it to La Junta Raceway. Matt and Sid are preparing the car, getting it ready to take it out on track. Mirl's actually doing like a driver briefing for Pikes Peak. He's doing it online in the car. So as soon as he's ready to go, we'll get it out and I'll try and document as much as I can. Super excited to see this thing running, so stay tuned guys. Pretty awesome track. The size of the actual scale of it, the amount of concrete we were saying earlier,
it's
crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
So Sid was telling me that the military back in the day, World War II, actually built this track to test bomber planes. So they were teaching the English military how to, or the English Air Force how to actually test bomber planes out here. So they've actually converted the airstrip into like somewhat of a semi-racetrack. So they're sort of built off the side of it, so the airstrip and then the racetrack on the side. The sheer scale of it is just enormous, massive. So interestingly enough, it only costs, I think it's costing Mirl $100 for the day to rent the track, and he's here by himself. So unlike Australia, just unbelievable. Like,
if this was back at home, we'd be doing this every day.
Mate, $100 a day. If I lived in this town, we're in the middle of nowhere, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, we are literally in the middle of nowhere. Like an hour and a half away in that direction is the Rocky Mountains. So we've got Colorado in that direction, and an hour and a half away and it's just nothing. It's just flat as far as you can see. So it's incredible the sheer scale and size of this place, but really cool opportunity to come and test the car today. We've got some really cool options we're testing out. We're testing anti-lag, we're testing nitrous, boost response. Mirl changed the gear set yesterday. Nick's got a video of that. It's unbelievable how cool and easy these things are to work on in some respects.
Yeah.
Changing the gear sets in them is really easy. Tightening up a turbo drain fitting, not so easy. So, yeah. Car's unloaded. Mirl looks like he's finished his driver's brief. It looks like he's going to do a track walk now. Nick's going to be on the camera. We've got everyone mic'd up. It's going to be a good day, I think.
Going to be an awesome day.
Yeah.
Cool.
To neutral, the thing just dies. It's extremely difficult to keep running. We're going to sit here, we're going to load the new calibration, download the first one, pull the engine cover, have a look at everything in the engine bay, and head back out.
Give me an update on what's happened, because I was just out in the paddock.
We were out there running and the car died. It kind of feels like it goes into a safe mode. No matter what you command with the throttle pedal, it just falls to idle.
Okay.
And so yeah, we're sorting through like what the issue is. We have a lot of water spray on the side of the block. We believe with the anti-lag strategy it created a lot more heat than normal, and we may have, we're trying to source the leak now because it seems like we burned oil and water, like we lost both. And so we're sorting through that now and looking at the data and kind of where we're at. It could also be like a drive-by-wire failure, but yeah, we just don't know quite yet. We'll hopefully know soon.
Cool. Diagnosis and working on it.
Yeah.
Troubleshooting.
Yeah, troubleshooting. There's been a lot of that. I mean, it's kind of, with the limited testing we had coming here, this is going to kind of happen a little bit here more than we wanted. But when we showed up here, we had maybe 75 miles of testing when we showed up in Colorado. So we kind of figured there would be some things to sort through, and that's certainly what's happening. But car has a lot of potential. We just need to sort through these issues and see where it goes.
I got some fucking cool footage.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. If you can, give me a bit more notice so I can run back out to where I was to set up. Yeah. Because you obviously only go out for a couple of laps at a time.
We only have one more thing that we want to test. We're kind of worried about if we've damaged the car.
Okay.
See all this water and everything.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we got some bag going on, so we're gonna dig through and see if it's safe and if we can even restart it or not.
So we'll pull that engine cover off and then this side pod so Matt can plug in and download.
Mel just took the car back in. It's right back out there over there. I just posted up here at this far corner, and just over in there I heard a rattlesnake, so definitely not going back in there, but the car looks fucking fast. So yeah, we'll get some footage on this corner. I might head out right up to the other end. I don't know what these corners are named, but just trying to get as much footage as I can from different perspectives for you guys. So, but the car sounds awesome. I haven't reviewed the footage, but I'm sure it doesn't look or sound as good as it does in real life. So yeah, this is an awesome experience. Point in coming in?
Yeah mate, come in, we've got dramas, come in.
I may have been just out of range.
Yeah mate, come in.
It's definitely a leak of some sort right there. We'll see it on the turbo and pull it all off.
So I'm not entirely sure what's going on. You say, so what's the game plan? The turbo's not making pressure because the blades are damaged, are they?
Yeah, that's what I think. We're making a lot of turbo speed. Everything seems to be working correctly. The tests yesterday that we done were smoke testing. So with the smoke testing, you're looking for air leaks in the air track system. So now the only thing I can think of is the fact that we do have turbine speed, but we're not moving the same air. We're not able to create the same boost pressure. So we believe the turbo is damaged. We are consuming oil, and we're not finding it anywhere in the car, and it is blowing a bit of smoke on diesel now, and when we start it up, so we think we've hammered the turbo. We did see speeds of up to 180,000 turbine speed, which is well into the danger zone. So we're going to pull the turbo if we've got a couple of spares here, see if we can put something together with what we've got. If not, we order a turbo core.
Yeah, cool. That's convenient that we've got a couple extra there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, thanks for that, man.
No worries. Oh, good catch. Yeah, we've damaged the thrust. Thrust is gone. So grab that and go in and out.
Yeah, it feels pretty worn out.
But what it is, it's the turbine blades moving away from the housing, and it's opening up that gap, and then that's why we're losing the... We've got turbo speed, we just don't have the ability to suck air, and it's just going around the outside of the blades.
See, they're not looking the same. That was wrong.
What's that? You're just talking the inlet outlet? That can be changed.
No, I'm talking about
the
this
distance
whole
between
entire
here.
piece. You gotta replace the whole entire center piece. It's wrong, it's different.
And so is this one here too, look. Look at this distance on that from this one.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Okay, so I thought I'd give you guys a bit of context because this video was filmed over 3 days. It was a Friday when we were testing out at La Junta, and we pulled the turbo off that afternoon once we got back, and that's when we found out that the thrust was damaged. Luckily, it was before close of business when we found that none of the spare turbos we had would work for spare parts. So Mirl ordered a core straight away and had it express posted to the shop for delivery late Saturday morning. While we were waiting for the new turbo core, I polished the turbo housing that we had, and Matt studied the logs on the M-Tron and coordinated some changes with Mirl to have the car shift a little bit quicker. And while he was on there, he was also able to confirm that they oversped the turbo through the logs. Another thing I wanted to mention is that this car was a fresh build, so we were working through quite a lot of teething problems, and nothing seemed to go according to plan just because it's quite difficult to diagnose multiple problems at once. And as this video wears on, you'll see that even though the circumstances change quite rapidly, the team's ability to stay calm and adapt to the changes is very impressive. And here's a little close-up of the turbo housing before and after I polished it, before we get back into the video.
This is what Nick did to my turbo with me. Well, Nick was doing some polishing, man.
It's slick.
Rightio, Matthew. So you've done a whole heap of research on the logs and stuff, and you found that the turbo had some problems?
Yeah, overspeed damaged the thrust in the turbo, so that turbo's hammered, and we got ourselves a new supercore, so we're just changing it out. Thankfully the front and rear housings haven't had any clashes, there's no damage to them, so we're just going to reuse the rear housing and the front housing, because we've obviously modified for the Wiggins clamp here, which goes directly into the intercooler. So thankfully we haven't hurt the front housing, because that would have hurt us. We had to source a new Wiggins clamp, refabricated the new front housing, so nothing's been touched, so it's all good.
And you obviously spent like a good day on the computer, like organising the tune, and one of the other things that you found was the setups with the Shift Tech computer? Yeah,
so not the Shift Tech, but Mirl did show me the Shift Tech.
You could like copy
and
it
the
back
settings,
over.
yeah, and then comparing that against the M-Tron, what we've got set up in the M-Tron, and was nowhere near comparable. The Shift Tech basically wants everything to happen instantaneously, where the M-Tron had a lot of like delays in everything, and that's because the tuner obviously didn't want to break the gearbox. It started off soft, but way too soft. But he didn't know what the Shift Tech had in it previously, settings-wise.
Yeah,
so
it's very unusual in relation to like a street car. You would never see anything like that.
No,
like zero.
No, it's literally everything happens instantaneously. Yeah. There's no millisecond delay time in pretty much anything that's been going on in this car, compared to,
like a Skyline.
Like a Skyline GDR or something. It just happens at 0 ms. So versus what Skylines, and that would have like 100 milliseconds of delay time. Reintroduction of torque times are a big thing in this car. It's just shift it as fast as it can happen. So
with this new turbo and your new setup, new settings with the Shift Tech, all our problems are going to be in the past, eh?
I believe so. I very much believe so.
Hope so.
Check it on the turbine first. See if she'll go.
Oh, you beauty.
Beautiful.
The compressor, when they were having shift problems, and they ended up changing the compressor and stuff.
Do you want to grab a deep reach socket?
I told the guy that.
No, that's alright. I got this. Nico's just grabbing a deep reach socket. You chill, Mel, just relax.
Oh, nice. Thanks. Never hear that like when I'm around the race car.
Go pick up that camera, Mirl, and get some footage of it.
I'm switching it up, man.
Mel will be like filming himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be doing it selfie style. I'd be like,
Yeah, I've got it all worked out now. I've got these stupid Australians out here.
if I remember right, it almost looks like it's pointing straight back. See how it's going in a little bit? I think if we rotate and it almost looks like it's going straight back, that'll be pretty close. I mean, maybe a...
Can we just chuck the panel on just to see?
Yeah, we can.
Just lay it on.
Like I said, I could see alcohol shooting out of it.
Let's change the plugs. We probably fouled them. Zero compression means they're leaking somewhere. Ready? Yep. Intake exhaust, where's it coming from? Intake and exhaust. Let's get the clean cover off.
It's not just a casual thing to do on this car. I mean, that's what holds the entire car together. So the only way we can do that is take the engine out.
Okay.
So, because as you can see, this is what holds the car together. So we need to dismantle the setup pad and get this into a working environment and pull the engine. So what do we think is going on?
We've got intake and exhaust valve issue.
Okay, so
they're holding open.
So let's look at, do we think this has anything to do with perhaps advancing the cam?
No, it's intake and exhaust.
And we can't see any damage down the spark plug hole.
No. I think what might have happened is we've lost clearance on the valves. The valves might have sunk in from extreme heat. Beryllium copper, maybe they didn't cop the heat so well, so the valves have sunk into the head and we've lost lash. So the next thing I want to test is valve lash on the cylinder head. Then we've got to just find a machine shop or something that we can lathe, and we've just got to machine out some clearance inside the bucket and drop them back in. If I confirm that there's lash, then we've hurt the intake.
So let's start dismantling the setup pad. Okay. Because we need to get that onto a proper stand right there, and we need to drop that other tunnel.
To the pipe, Nick?
Yeah.
Coming down.
So, tell me on the.
Oh, I forgot to get.
That's what we're doing. I'll figure out a way to do this. I've done it once before. It puts a lot of stress on the engine to do it, but I can take the valve cover out. Don't touch the trunnions.
Support here and here basically, and then remove the plate there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, you know, it'll be being held by the trunnions, but that's it. So it's kind of, you know, it puts pressure on it like this way. These are 832 size Allens. Everything on this car is US standard, not imperial.
American.
Except for various bits on the engine and gearbox. So when you're going for tools and everything, just like
anything that's not engine is not metric.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like all these black bolts, grade 8, that's all going to be
pure American.
American.
That's right.
And same thing with anything gold, or these are titanium, so anything like gray colors, stuff like that.
Yeah. That's good. Doesn't have too much. So it's got lash. Let's get the leak down tester again. Just test it. Cylinder 4 now. We'll come around to base circle. Yeah.
start drinking beer if you want. Is that normal on this cam? Like, it looks heavily worn to me, but I mean...
Yep, that's smashed. Yeah, something's happened on that cam lobe. Why has it done that? Keep coming, Sid. Come back. Yep. So that's got no lash. Oh yeah, that's got lash. It's just this valve here. That's our problem. The bucket's gone.
So I guess the thing is there's nothing we can order right now in a hurry, so let's take our time and think our way through exactly what we need.
Yep.
And exactly all the possible scenarios. The valve seats could possibly be fucked. Can we remove the head and reattach it if that happens?
What we can do to test to see if the valve seats are fucked is we just have to remove this cam. If we just unbolt that cam right now, the valve seat closes, it'll be shut, and then we can leak down again. If it holds pressure, we're good.
Did it break?
No.
I mean...
Oh yeah, it's turning.
Holy fuck.
It's gone straight through it. Oh fuck, we're in trouble. Yeah, we're in trouble. Head's got to come off.
This one's taking a little bit of
Yeah,
weight.
this one's got a bit of weight as well. These ones feel good. Alright, head's got to come off. I've only ever seen this once before. The exhaust valves we can get pretty easy out of Supertech. I'll just need a head assembly bench. I could probably just do it on the floor. We just need one valve, collets, and a bucket.
Okay. They're the only source, right? So we'll get those on Monday then, right? So we can certainly take the head off and all that stuff tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing from that other engine that's going to help us out, right?
No, I don't think so. The valve out of it could be the same.
So if we pull the head, what do we have? Like, I mean, are we going to be able to reuse that stuff? I mean, it's not normal to reuse the head gasket and stuff.
No, the head gasket's reusable.
Okay.
It's just we've just got to get that glue. Pretty much, we can pretty much use any glue to re-glue the head gasket. Firings are all reusable. All right, we'll start swinging, get the manifolds off.
So as we watch the boys remove the head, I thought I'd give you guys some more context. In that last clip, Matt and Merl referenced a spare engine that we could possibly use for parts. And I know what you're thinking, why not just do a straight swap with the new engine? Well, the reason why we couldn't just do a straight swap was because the spare engine was a 1.8 litre aspirated 4AGE that made 280 horsepower. So for those of you that don't know, if we were to bolt a turbo to that thing, it would probably grenade itself pretty quickly. But it does have the same size valves as our current engine, and if we're lucky, we might be able to find the correct size bucket to get us back in the game. This was still Saturday, and we were all cranking on the car to get it apart, and we managed to get the head off that afternoon. The spare engine was obviously a Hasselgren built engine, and I managed to get a few photos of it before we pulled it apart. As you can see, it had barrel throttles and standoff injectors. It also had quite a lot of custom parts, and I thought it was quite interesting to see the velocity stacks at unequal lengths. Another thing to remember is that 280 horsepower figure was at the flywheel on an engine dyno. So it would probably be closer to about 240 horsepower in an 8.6 like mine, which is still pretty crazy.
Just tap that out for me.
Oh wow, that's fucking...
Whoop, stop. little bit bent.
Will we lose a guide or?
No, they're bronze. They can cop this sort of stuff. Okay, Nick, give it a tap. Yep. Stop.
Of all the hammers I have for selection, Matt's instinct was to go for the claw hammer.
It was Nick this time.
Oh,
I know you know I love claw hammers, but Nick probably thought he's going to ask for the claw hammer.
I have a whole drawer full of hammers.
Yep. That's the one to
Bronze
go
mallets, everything. You know, I went for the claw hammer.
You've obviously seen the YouTube video.
Yeah.
People roast about
They
the claw
got
hammer.
Like, what? No.
My response is, you should see me on the weekends where I'm just in undies.
All right, Matt, we're going to have to do like a recap on what's going on. So we've obviously taken the head off because we couldn't get the thing to start. And you didn't want to take the head off. We had a strategy to take just the cam cover off and hopefully replace the bucket because we thought the bucket might have been damaged.
No, with what I thought was the anti-lag had damaged the valve seats being beryllium copper and they'd sunk. So the valves were pulled into the head further and we'd lose lash. But that wasn't the case. We'd actually exploded the bucket and the cam lobe was running directly on the valve tip, which then damaged the retainer and then pushed the collets out and the valve dropped into the cylinder. So this valve is noticeably bent. So just needs a new valve, retainer, collets, and we'll dress the camshaft and put it all back together with get a bucket to suit. Do you want to lift it up on here?
Ready? Yep.
Yep. The trusty claw hammer. Alright guys, so here in this scene, we're basically pulled the spare engine out of the race truck and we're tearing it down for parts. Where we're looking for camshaft, bucket, valve, anything we could use to fix the race engine. This was a spare of Mirl's, like Nick said, it was making about 280 horsepower aspirated, so we didn't know what we were going to find when we started pulling this thing apart, and very quickly we realised after we got the throttle bodies off that the cylinder head was not an option to just swap across. It was completely different from what we were using. You'll see it here with these ports, completely different size. It was all custom made to suit aspirated the horsepower that this car was doing. So we very quickly also realised that the valves, although the same size, were made of titanium, had different shims, springs, everything was completely different. So we come to the conclusion that we needed a machine shop. We needed one locally where we could basically have free reign, and we needed parts too. So parts and machine work, specifically tooling for 4A size cylinder heads, wasn't really going to be something locally accessible to us in Colorado. So very quickly we made the decision that we were going to have to go for a bit of a drive. And what day was it again, Nico, when we were working on this?
While we were working on this, it was a Sunday, and we'd have to have the car back together ready for Tuesday because Tuesday was qualifying.
And Tuesday morning too. Tuesday morning at like 3 a.m. we had to be up and on the mountain because qualifying was held between 9 a.m. and it only went for a couple of hours.
Only a couple of hours,
yeah.
But if we miss qualifying, we get knocked out completely, so we're not going to be able to race. So it was super important that we had this thing back up and running in a couple of days. So,
yeah. Being Sunday, what we had basically all of Monday and then Monday night to have it ready by Tuesday morning for qualifying was the key.
And as you can see here, Matt's just taken the old gasket off and he's just about to find one of the valve seats been really severely damaged, and you could probably talk about that there.
Yeah, so we believe what happened is after the valve bent with a clash with the piston, the bent head came over and actually punched into the beryllium seat. Now the seat not being so hard, it bent. Now that bent seat then caved the metal in, the alloy in the cylinder head behind it. The seats weren't very wide, so there's not a lot of support on them. So if that was a nickel seat, it probably would have copped the hit and the valve would have got more damage, but we damaged valve, we damaged seat, we damaged the cylinder head, so it needed substantial work. So we're about to make a pretty big call, and this almost killed us, to be honest. We drove a long time, and we were...
No one was real too keen, but none of us wanted to give up. So yeah, even though we weren't too happy about it, we sort of just sucked it up and
made the call.
Yeah.
And the call is coming up.
So as you guys saw in the last clip, we pulled the whole motor apart, pulled it right out of the car, and we found that one of the buckets was totally worn all the way through, and the cam is also damaged. This morning, Matt pulled the head apart and found that the valve seat is actually damaged pretty severely, and we're going to need to do some machine work. So I just showed you guys quickly, the workshop was a bit of a mess, and then we've got the engine plus the spare engine in the boot, or in the ute of the truck. And we're going to head out to California to Hasselgren, so it's an 18-hour trip.
18-hour trip.
And we're pretty much going to arrive there, I think Mel said 4 a.m. I think.
5 a.m. 5 a.m.
5 a.m. You're going to have to work on the motor.
With Paul. With Paul, will be working on the motor, I guess.
Hopefully get it sorted. If it works out, we'll cannonball straight back and get it back in the car and hopefully make it here for Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Right now it's Sunday morning. So it's going to be a pretty epic trip. I'm going to try and capture as much as I can. And
it'll just be a lot of highway and rocky mountains. And
yeah, but still it's going to be an adventure. So
very excited.
Do what you got to do, eh? So
that's racing.
That's racing. Yeah.
Well, that escalated quickly. And yes, you heard that correctly. Next time we're going to be road tripping across country to Hasselgren and fixing the motor. So stay tuned for part 4, where we get a close look at some beautiful Atlantic and Cosworth parts, and we rush to get the car back together for qualifying. So let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that notification bell and subscribe so that you don't miss it. Thanks for watching.